My name is Monica and I am a singing teacher coming from a performance background, so I still perform a lot. I focus on musical theatre in my teaching, teach at some of the drama schools around London, and also own my own school in Norway, as well as taking on private students. So during my studies, I started off by researching belting for female musical theatre performers, and then I went on from there to researching how to successfully train professional young performers and young child musical theatre performers, which was a very, very big task. So then my natural transition from that was to go on to teach how to safely teach young performers between the ages of 12 to 18, female performers, to belt in the voice studio, which has been really, really interesting. So in terms of my latest research, there is now a lot of research on musical theatre performance out there. There is also an increasing amount of research on belting, I find. My struggle with my last research project was that I was researching how to teach young performers to belt, which there's barely anything on at all. Also because it's an area that previously you've been asked not to touch. You don't teach young performers to belt. And that was a bit of a dilemma for me, because I have lots of professional students who get asked to belt in professional West End shows all the time. And they are coming to me and obviously wanting to know how to do it in a healthy manner, which is where my whole kind of last project came from. So I found that I had to use the existing research on belting and combine that with the research on adolescent voices, but particularly adolescent female voices, and then kind of see the red threads that I could find. And then I got into looking at particularly work on from speech to song, which I found really, really useful in my work on young performers in particular, because you can use primal sounds and things that are natural to them and utilize the speaking voice first and find out whether you can do that in a healthy way, and then take that on to move on to belting. And then I looked at cross-training a lot, and the whole thing of, you know, training the whole voice and also training the M2 quality, also in young singers and in adolescent singers, and how you can then utilize that to be a strong quality before you start working on the M1 quality. And then if that's successful, you can lead that on to belting. So I was going in lots of different ways, and combining all the research I could find, and finding a way to put that into a method for teaching young singers to belt. So with my next area of research, I am really interested in looking into coaching, just taking a little break from my research in belting. I want to look at how to utilize coaching methods in the voice studio, and probably looking specifically at goal setting and looking at how we can use micro goals to kind of also enjoy the process. I find almost all my students, without exceptions, want to be in the West End, and it's just a fact that, you know, everyone should be dreaming and everyone should, you know, have a strategy of how to get there. But I think it's important to look at how you can still feel a sense of achievement even though you're on your way and not quite on the West End stage yet. And there's so many different ways to go for a musical theatre performer, and I think there's a lot of peer pressure now in colleges of, you know, that should be your ultimate goal, and if that isn't your goal, why are you even there? And I think that's a bit wrong, because there's so many, well, I mean, when we don't have COVID, there's so many areas in the industry that is worth exploring. So I was interested in how to use those kind of life coaching methods of goal setting, and potentially also personality, how to teach for particular personalities, and utilize that into setting micro goals to just feel more successful and feel a higher level of achievement.